Preliminary figures from the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) reveals that the total number of passengers carried on scheduled services alone rose to 3.5 billion in 2015. Out of this figure, Nigeria contributed a little over 15 million to the traffic. In 2016, the International Air Transport Association (IATA) has predicted that the emerging economies of Asia Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East will see the strongest passenger growth. On this premise, Aviation this week takes a look at how Nigeria can overcome its challenges and move the aviation sector forward this year. Welcome to the program, Aviation This Week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joketumbi.
An industry traffic forecast by the International Air Transport Association shows that airlines expect to welcome some 3.6 billion passengers in 2016. A whopping 800 million more than the 2.8 billion passengers carried by airlines in 2011. The forecast, which covers a 4-year period of 2012 to 2016, predicts a system-wide passenger growth, with numbers expanding by an average of 5.3% per annum. The 28.5% increase in passenger numbers over the forecast period will see almost 500 million new passengers traveling on domestic routes and 331 million new passengers on international services. The emerging economies of Asia Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East will see the strongest passenger growth. This will be led by routes within or connected to China, which are expected to account for 193 million of the 831 million new passengers over the forecast period. Through 2016, the United States is expected to continue to be the largest single market for domestic passengers. That's about 710 million. The forecast adds that the top 5 countries for international travel measured by number of passengers will be the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, Spain, and France. Domestic passengers development in 2016 will see the United States, China, Brazil, India, and Japan as the 5 largest markets. Now to cargo. International freight volumes are expected to grow at 3% per annum to total 34.5 million tons in 2016. But on the African continent, the forecast figures predict the strongest passenger growth with 6.8% and a 4% rise in international cargo demand. Here in Nigeria, the Air Transport Service Senior Staff Association of Nigeria is confident that the aviation industry will experience improved performance in this new year. While the optimism persists, the industry needs to rise up to overcome some perennial challenges, which includes the effect of the devaluation of the naira on airline and aviation operations and the cost of aircraft spare parts and maintenance. The rise in cost of aviation fuel despite the fall in global oil prices and threats to safety and security. Away from these challenges in the country, the global airline body says in the face of economic uncertainty, expected demand for connectivity remains strong, which is good news for the global economy. According to IATA President Tony Tyler, growing air transport links generate jobs and underpins economic growth in all economies. But exploiting these will require governments to recognize aviation's value with policies that do not stifle innovation. Tax regimes that do not punish success, and investments to enable infrastructure to keep up with growth.
Governments must recognize aviation's value with policies that do not stifle innovation and invest to enable infrastructure to keep up with growth. This may be the words from the IATA President Tony Tyler, but they are re-echoed by our guest, the publisher of Travel and Business News, Mr. Ewos Iroro.